After much deliberation, Boeing has confirmed that a long-awaited new commercial airliner will be built in its traditional home of Washington. Developments surrounding the new aircraft follow an agreement with some 33,000 employees working in the Washington state, home to Renton and Everett. The tentative agreement involves unions representing workers and comes with substantially increased relief from a wage perspective of a reported 25% jump, and also other benefits such as healthcare. In addition to those very positive ramifications for employees, Boeing confirmed that its next commercial jet will be built in the region. The agreement explicitly states that the company will commit to a new commercial airplane and all derivatives during the project's life within the union's jurisdiction. This will include all program elements, including final assembly, wing fabrication, assembly generally, major components such as interiors and wires, part fabrication, delivery operation, and sub-assemblies, to just name a few of the many things that goes into building a plane. However, there is a significant catch for this new commercial airplane. The board of directors must launch the program within 4 years, otherwise this is seemingly voided. A commitment to launching the program within 4 years doesn't necessarily mean the aircraft will actually formally be released anytime soon. Rather, just Boeing needs a firm commitment for all of this to take shape, and no doubt if it wanted to launch the program in, say, 4 years, it would give it time to really refine what this aircraft was going to be. But what next aircraft will be released as part of Boeing's commercial airplane portfolio? Well, before this announcement, Boeing had long been studying a new middle-of-the-market airliner that would replace the 757, adequately known as the NMA, but some would dub it the 797, given this the only available, say, number configuration that could still have an aircraft released. This NMA would answer airlines' calls for an ideal jet to slot between types such as the MAX and 787. Previously, we'd see the 757 and 767 here, but obviously they are no longer produced, and some airlines and lessors were in fact screaming out for such a type. However, as time progressed, Boeing would not move ahead with an NMA, seemingly confirming on a public scale that it would return to such an aircraft at a later date. In reports from the likes of Reuters, however, and lacking confirmation from Boeing, the aircraft being touted is a 737 replacement, with still a lot of uncertainty on the eventual direction, at least publicly, when the labor deal was announced, but has not been totally confirmed or approved, as I'll get into at the end of today's update. Why did Boeing cancel, though, the 797 as it was known? Well, the plane maker's decision was influenced by the lack of technological development. Yes, Boeing believed that its next aircraft would desperately need new-gen technology, and pretty much because of this, be a worthy upgrade on what was currently available across the market. They didn't want, say, a minor incremental upgrade and push that out. However, towards the end of the 2010s, especially into the early 2020s, the consensus was that Boeing didn't have what it believed it required to move ahead with the next-gen type, and that would be in proven technologies. Ultimately, Boeing said it would put the project on the back burner until the 2030s at least, most likely in a bid to reevaluate at this point what available technologies would be to them and whether airlines would still require such a type. Look no further than the X-66A with the TTBW wings that is currently being studied by Boeing and NASA. All this work and more that we're even seeing at Airbus is really helping to shape what the future of air travel is going to be like, with the belief that, say, that next plane is going to be radically different and have to be as well to meet emission targets, be sustainable, and again, have that pretty hefty jump in efficiency over the previous gen. By Boeing making the decision, though, to basically postpone any development of this new plane, they essentially were also ceding ground to European plane maker and rival Airbus, allowing for the propellant of the A321XLR and other derivatives on top of that to be highly successful and without a true competitor, as Boeing had nothing similar of that stature. Furthermore, while the MAX may often be pitted against the A321neo from some in forms of the 737-10, it is important to note that in the time Airbus was able to launch, build and certify a new A321XLR, the high-capacity 737-10 has still yet to be certified, with no real time frame on that front. This middle of the market has often been quoted as seeing demand well in excess of 1,000 units, with some forecasting 3,000 units in a lifetime, others more modestly believing you could get over 1,000 units. Therefore, many onlookers believe that Boeing missed the boat with an NMA, and whatever this new aircraft is set to be, if it does actually proceed, which I'll get into a little bit more why it may not, it needs to not just be a worthy upgrade, but needs to slot into a market where Boeing is going to be incredibly successful in. There are already some early discussions that Boeing is too late. I'd love to hear your take down below in the comments. The upcoming years really are going to be essential for this American plane maker. Not only, if you remember, as it tries to repair its reputation, and on top of that, implement new strategies that are aimed to adjust culture, but also this American manufacturer knows it needs to begin competing with Airbus once more. Now, that's not to say that there are not already certain aircraft types that go head-to-head, but Boeing has definitely lost the title of the world's largest plane maker, and has lost it for some time. It also doesn't look to be getting that back anytime soon, while competitor Airbus does face its own difficulties with regards to supply chains and output. It is by no means on the same scale as what Boeing is facing. The long-term goal for Boeing would be to, of course, rectify its problems, but get back up there and contend with Airbus for that all-important title. And at the end of the day, two successful leading manufacturers is exactly what this industry needs. Greater competition will see greater innovation. The future is one of the more talked about topics. How will Airbus and Boeing move ahead with the commercial airplane division? And more importantly, what will be released? Generally, the consensus for Boeing is that they have to hit the nail on the head with whatever their next airplane is. That could be an NMA or potentially a 737 replacement. The latter we know has to come at some point and cannot be with that dated 737 fuselage unless there is absolutely massive adjustments to how the plane will overall fly. However, all of this in saying is easier said than done. Boeing knows it needs to invest a lot in its next jet, and there's still a very good possibility that none of this will go ahead, and that is due to two major roadblocks that will need overcoming. One, Boeing must see this new labour agreement approved at a vote that will occur on September 12. That'll give us a bit more clarity on the direction. But following this, we know Boeing must move ahead with such a new commercial airplane project in 4 years, the board of directors having to green light it. This would bring us close to 2029, and if announced at this point, it would launch formally with customers in the 2030s. But I think to really conclude, as and I'm sure you know best, especially taking a look at the last 5 years, this is all fantastic, and it's great to see that Boeing is moving ahead with innovation, but you can't say nail anything down at this stage. Of course, one day we are going to see a new commercial aircraft from this manufacturer, but when that is and what that is certainly remains all clear. But at this point, we'll take anything we can get, a bit of hope that something is in the works. Thanks a lot for watching. I'd love to hear your take down below in the comments. See you tomorrow for more regular news recaps.